What is up, guys? Welcome back to Between the Pylons. I'm John Camacho. Thank you so much for watching. And if you watched any of my videos from last week, you know that all of this looks a lot different. Got all of this cleaned up. I'm officially settling into the new place. So got that taken care of. I'm not quite as embarrassed as about my backdrop anymore. I did just want to take a quick second before I start talking about Jordan Love to thank all my new subscribers. It really means a lot to me. I really appreciate the subscribe. I really appreciate the feedback that I'm getting from you guys. You know, even if it isn't necessarily positive, or even if you disagree with me, you know, I'm not going to be right 100% of the time. I think I bring educated opinions to the conversation, but that's all they are. This is just an opinion. This is just one idea. So I hope you guys appreciate what I'm doing, and I really do appreciate what you guys are doing, leaving comments, letting me know what you guys think. It really means a lot to me. So I just want to thank everybody who has commented, who has supported, because I'm not going to lie, you know, when you're starting a channel, it's really hard to say, man, do I really want to spend the next 4 or 5 hours editing and doing all these things? Well, you know, these comments, these little things, it fills me up. It really does mean a lot. So I just wanted to thank you guys. So with all that being said, let's talk Jordan Love. So Jordan Love is my number 2 quarterback in this class. I want to start there. I want to start with the rankings because I think that's a good way to shift this conversation to bring to light the way I feel about him and the way I feel about quarterbacks in general. So, you know, if you watch these videos, you probably know I build a program. I grade players on this program, and it takes a lot of things into account. It's grades on a different scale, so it's a weighted average, right? That's why I call it the Wawa score. So it's a double weighted average type of score that takes in everything into account, and I'm always tinkering with it. I'm always trying to change it, make it better. You know, when I finish a position group, I write a whole list of notes to fix and go in and change it for next year, right? So that's kind of my process, because I know the only way that this program is gonna get to the point that I want it to be is just by trial and error, you know, constantly trying to fine tune it and make it better and better. What I'm finding with quarterbacks, though, is I don't think this is going to work with quarterbacks. I don't think there's any way to take all of a quarterback skills and put them into one number. I just don't think there is, not a fair way, because I feel like every quarterback's different. Every quarterback, you know, plays a different way. I think what I'm doing, it can highlight strengths and weaknesses, but the final number it's not that important to me. I'm not going to hold it to as high of a regard as I am my receiver group scores or my running back scores or anything like that. So just keep that in mind as we go through this. And I said at the top, you know, Jordan Love's my number 2 quarterback. Well, Tua actually had a higher score here. So I understand that's kind of jarring, and I'm going to explain that. I think Jordan Love has a higher ceiling. I think Jordan Love can become a better player in the pros, and that's what this is all about. It's about projecting to the next level. It's about projecting what can happen, and that becomes incredibly difficult when you don't know the teams they're going to be on. But, you know, that's what any draft guy has to deal with. They have to deal with the fact that they're looking at a player that could succeed in one situation and maybe wouldn't succeed in another. And I think that is a really good place to start with Jordan Love. It is kind of sink or swim with Jordan Love. And not to say that I don't think he'll succeed if he's in the wrong place. I just think that his ceiling may not be as high as it should be if he goes to the wrong situation, if he doesn't figure out certain issues that he has in his game right now. If those aren't cleaned up, you know, there's going to be maybe a ceiling that isn't quite as high as I think it can be. So with all that being said, let's get to the skill chart and then the film review, and maybe I can explain that a little bit better. All right, so here we are with Jordan Love's skill chart. So right off the bat, we have to talk about the negatives first. Accuracy and field vision, you can kind of tell they kind of ruined the circle for me with Jordan Love, and that is a big issue, right? And there's no argument. His accuracy is kind of all over the place. It's really not that bad in my opinion. Like, and to be fair, that could be me watching it with rose-colored glasses. As I said, I really do like the player. I mean, all of his physical abilities, but at times he just he needs to get his arm under control, and I think it's fixable. I don't think it's a huge issue. It's not like he's, missing by a mile. It doesn't feel like Mitch Trubisky this past year, and I don't want to pick on Mitch Trubisky, but he was pretty awful this year in the pros. It's not that bad. It's just, he puts a little bit too much mustard on a 3-yard throw to his running back here and there, stuff like that. It's too consistent for me not to give him a pretty bad grade. A 3 out of 9. It's horrible for me, and I had to do that. Field vision, man, that's truly just because of all his interceptions. That's the conversation when you talk about Jordan Love, and I'm not going to deny it. I have a big portion of this video is going to be about his interceptions. We're going to get there, so I'm going to kind of just leave that there. We'll talk about that later, I promise. The other side of it, the other thing that has to be part of this conversation, arm strength and arm talent. I think he probably has the best in the class when it comes to those two things. And I understand that is not all about what a quarterback's supposed to do. Just because you have a big arm, just because you can make every throw, that doesn't make you a good quarterback, and I get that. I really, really get that. But those are the two single most important things for me when I evaluate quarterbacks. Do you have a big arm, and can you make every throw? Am I consistently in all of your arm talent? So those are the two things I like. That's why I love Jordan Love. That's why I love his potential. I mean, the comparisons to Patrick Mahomes aren't really fair. I don't love those comparisons. But they're not far off from maybe Deshaun Watson, maybe Carson Wentz. I mean, you see a big arm out of this kid, and yes, you can't take away the issues, but again, I'm going to talk about that later. So it's just an interesting conversation where if you just fall in love with the physical ability, because that's what it is. It's physical ability that he can throw it really far and pretty much throw it wherever he wants, however he wants. I mean, you ask him to put zip on the ball, he will zip it down the field 35, 40 yards just on a line. Doesn't look like the ball ever gets very high at all. It just stays pretty much at head level or just a little bit above head level. Insane. You want to lob the ball up, perfect, beautiful lob, beautiful deep ball. I have no issue with the way he throws the ball. Opposite of that, I love the way he throws the football. But he throws it to the wrong team a lot. So that's the issue. If you can't get past the interceptions, if you can't get past the bonehead interceptions especially, you're not going to love this player. And I understand that. I'm not going to hate on you if you think Jordan Love's the 4th best quarterback, as long as you're not completely denying his arm talent and the potential for him to be really good. I have no problem with that. I can live with the fact that he might be the 4th quarterback taken off the board, and he probably deserves that at times. That's fine. Moving on down my skill charts here, elevates talent. I said yes. I do think he elevates talent. I thought he made the players around him better, but at a certain point, you could ding me for that. You could give me shit for that. That's fair. It wasn't perfect at times, and I do understand that. But from what I saw, I do believe he elevated talent, and I'll mention that in the film part of this as well. Football IQ, usually I wouldn't give a quarterback a bad grade for football IQ unless I really knew something off the field was an issue, because that's such a hard thing for me to do. But he threw a lot of dumb interceptions. So, again, I think all 3 of these grades are just interceptions based. Like, if he didn't throw so many interceptions, his grade would probably be better there. And, if he didn't throw all those interceptions, I don't think there would be much of a conversation about who's the 2nd best quarterback in this class. I just don't believe there would be. That really does kind of shape the entire conversation when you are talking about Jordan Love. Feel in the pocket. I love his feel in the pocket. I do have, the only reason this is an elite grade is because I feel like sometimes he wants to run out of the pocket for no reason. Like he has a clean pocket and he just doesn't trust it and he runs out. I don't really have a problem with that, because his ability to throw on the run is really, really good. And then he still makes plays outside of the pocket as well. It almost seems like he's just more comfortable outside of the pocket, which, again, that's something that needs to be coached out of him. I get that, but he's a backyard football type of player, so I don't really have a huge issue with that. Athleticism is absolutely there, especially for a quarterback. Mobility, I don't want him to make a living running the ball, but I do think he can do it pretty well. That's kind of how I feel about all 3 of these quarterbacks in this class, or at least all 4 of the top 4 quarterbacks: Justin Herbert, Tua, Burrow, and Jordan Love. I feel like all 4 of them I have no issue with them being able to move around, but that's not what they're going to make a living doing. Physicality, I just base this just a couple of times that he does run the ball and he just kind of takes a hit head on and just falls forward. You love seeing that as a quarterback. Like a running back does it, you don't bat an eye. Quarterback does it and you just get excited, right? And last thing we'll say, release. I love his release. He just flicks the ball. I love it. He just love it. With all that being said, let's go to the film portion of this video. All right, so here we are with the film portion of this video. First thing we do have to talk about arm talent. I want to talk about his positives and then we'll talk about his negatives. Just watch some of these plays, right? Just watch what he's able to do. Just on the run, flicks the ball, 45 yards down the field on a line. I mean, he's at the 30 right here, gets all the way to the 35 really. I mean, that's what a 45-yard throw. He did it off its back leg and just kind of flicked it. You gotta love the arm talent. I'm gonna show you guys that just one more time. Look at his stance. Look where he's at, and look how far he gets that ball just without even trying. I mean, he pretty much was in the air. That is, I'm going to really avoid saying Patrick Mahomes because that's just a really lazy comparison. But we see him do that a lot. That's just so beautiful. That is why people are enamored with this kid. That right here, this right here is why me personally, along with anybody else who's talking about him in the first round, talking about him as possibly the third quarterback taken. I don't think I've heard anybody say second. I believe that's a possibility, but I digress. That is why. It is just absolute ability to do that. And then this right here. I know that was a drop. Ignore the drop. Watch him just fire that ball down the field. Just flicks it. It doesn't even look like it looks like it's going right over people's heads. This right here is just a back shoulder throw that you just have to love. You kind of lose the ball, but I mean, just places it right in the window. Again, there is no separation here. No separation there. No separation here. He's not getting a lot of help from his receivers, especially against LSU. And I mean, that's fair, but there's the argument that he didn't do a lot against top talent. Well, he made a lot of throws against these guys, but there's nothing he can do when he has receivers that just can't get open. I mean, that's just not his fault. Again, lobs it perfectly to where only his receiver can get it. That's a perfect throw. The receiver just wasn't able to extend and get the ball. Again, you're going to see him on the run. This right here was just that sidearm throw you just have to love. And I want to show that one more time. I'm going to slow it down just a little bit for you guys to see this here. Just look, he's kind of in trouble. Just chink, sidearm it. It's not a huge throw, but I mean, that's just his ability to just backyard football type of thing, get the ball to his receiver however he has to, off platform, not in a perfect pocket, doesn't matter, he's still going to get it there. And this right here is just his use of the legs. Again, he's not going to make a living doing this, but you got to love how he just stands up and runs through contact here. I love that in a quarterback. I want to see that. Just has no fear of contact. I mean, that's just gamesmanship more than anything. You have to love that, especially from a kind of smaller guy. Here, this isn't necessarily a positive or a negative for me. You look at the pocket and you really have no issue. This is a three-man rush, right? And a lot of teams did this to Jordan Love because they knew that if they just put 8 guys out there and in zone coverage, he's probably going to make a mistake, or he has the potential to make a mistake. So what he does is he runs forward, kind of changes the coverage, and makes a throw. You kind of see this guy. You can't really see it, but you have to assume he's kind of he takes a step towards the quarterback because it looks like the quarterback's about to run, and the quarterback throws it over his head. You see a lot of quarterbacks doing that in the next level. I have no problem with that. You'd like to see him not get nervous in an open pocket. He does that enough to where I wonder if that is, I'm going to move around and get the linebacker or nickel corner or whoever that is to move, or are you just nervous and you kind of want to run? You're worried about your protection. I'm not sure. On that play, I think it's more gamesmanship. Sometimes you see him move out of the pocket and he doesn't need to. Here you're going to see him just avoiding pressure. This is against Nevada. I understand those aren't NFL players. You're probably not going to be able to do that against NFL talent, but I do like seeing his playmaking ability. And here we are going to talk about pocket presence. So see him kind of he tries to jump in the pocket, just gets clobbered by a big, strong dude. You get a little nervous there, and that's the first play I'm going to show you, because you get a little nervous that he's able to get brought down with one arm. You'd like to see a little bit more strength in the pocket, ability to really make him miss. You see his recognition, like he sees the blitz that should have worked, but guy just gets a little bit too much of him and brings him down. You are going to see some good plays here as well. Again, pocket presence, able to see the blitz, move around, stop, get settled, and make a good, accurate throw. You know, he has the ability. You'd like to see it more than maybe you do. Really, he wasn't in a lot of trouble. I think he was just worried about this D tackle, so he kind of moves, gives his receiver a little bit more room, makes this linebacker move a little bit in coverage, opens up a hole, and throws it. Again, you can look at it in two sides. I'm not gonna sit here and be biased and tell you that, oh, he moved around to move the linebacker, that's a great play, blah blah blah. Maybe it's not. Maybe he got nervous and he shouldn't have. Maybe he should have just sat there in the pocket. I don't know. Right here, this is a play that I love. It's kind of a similar play that you saw against LSU, but he is actually able to make a move, make him escape the pressure, and get a positive play. I understand that's not huge, but get a positive play. That's awesome. So here we're going to talk about the issues, right? I can talk about how great of a thrower he is all day. I know you guys have heard that. I know that if you followed this at all, if you've heard anybody talk about Jordan Love, they will tell you he has amazing arm talent. But there is the negative, and here we're going to talk about just accuracy issues. Right here, he just puts too much mustard on a throw that he shouldn't have, right? We'll show one more time. Absolutely no pressure, clean pocket. Really doesn't need to get the ball out there as fast as he's going to. I think this can be coached out of him, right? Just gets excited. He's playing against LSU. It's early in the game. They're still in it. They need a good drive here, right? It's all these things, and just puts too much mustard on it, and their running back isn't able to get. That's all on him. I understand that. Again, you see that again, kind of. I believe this is, well, not the same drive, same game though. The receiver just gets a little bit out of his way, and the receiver isn't able to corral out there. That's a problem. I absolutely understand that. That is a problem. So here, man, there's no excuse for this. This is supposed to be a quick read. You're supposed to just see it, throw it kind of thing, get an easy 5 or 6 yards, and he just airmails it. I don't have an excuse for that. That just is what it is. There are accuracy issues here. I'd like to think that that he can fix that. Those aren't just the 3 clips that I could find. It happens a lot. It happens in a lot of different games. But I do think it's fixable. I mean, accuracy has improved with some players. With some players it hasn't. So it just depends on what you think about that particular issue. Decision making, this is probably more of an issue, right? If you're scared of Jameis Winston types, you just wonder, can they fix this? I don't know. I like to think they can. Like right here, this ball should have never been thrown into triple coverage essentially his receiver has absolutely no separation. Why would you throw this football? This is not the read. There's a read there. It should go to your check down, should go somewhere else, but this is not the read. I understand the situation, though. It's 3rd and 13. He needs a first down, so he tries to push it into the only spot that he can get a first down. It's a bad throw. It's a bad choice, but he's trying to do too much. And I get it against against a team like LSU. You're trying to win. You're trying to prove to everybody that you maybe are this top quarterback prospect. You're trying to prove to everybody that you can make these kind of throws on a regular basis. Well, nobody can. Patrick Mahomes can't make those throws. That's ridiculous. There's no separation. You're throwing in the middle of the field, which was the strength of their defense there. It was just stupid. And there's no other way to say it. Right here, again, you're going to see he's throwing it to this guy right here. Pretty good zone coverage. You can see, what's he doing here? The only reason this isn't an interception section is because the linebacker just drops it. There's absolutely no excuse. And again, I gave him a really bad grade on field vision. I don't know if he just isn't seeing the field or if he sees. I'm going to take it back here just to show you guys what I'm seeing. If he sees it right here, He sees just a tiny little window, right? A tiny little window that Dan Marino probably couldn't get it between. And he says, well, I can do that. And it's just stupid. So move on to this next play here. Watch this. He kind of has to run around. And this, I actually don't have an issue with this. Kind of has no options. Nobody's open. Runs around the pocket, tries to make something happen, and just kind of throws it away. I'm good with that. That's what I want to see more of. That's what I need to see more of. If I'm a coach, and if I'm really looking at adding this player to my team, first of all, I'd like to be in a situation where I don't have to start him year one. I'd like to be able to sit him. I'd like to be able to redshirt him for a year. But if you can't, you got to at least see that he can make those those kind of decisions. So here, I had to break up interceptions into two categories. I've never done that before, but I had to do that with him. So first, I'm going to show you the bonehead mistakes. These I have absolutely no excuse for. I'm putting them on here solely because I accept that they're real. I accept that I am going to make excuses for Jordan Love later on in this video, but I'm not going to make excuses for these. There are two categories to his interceptions. One are bonehead, stupid mistakes that just can't be done. I don't know what he saw here. I've watched this clip 100 times. I have absolutely no idea what he saw here. Yes, maybe he's open for a second. Maybe that's a bad throw just behind him. But really, it's not, though, because it was never open. Because, yeah, you look at that and you can say, oh, maybe it was open for a second. But look at the coverage here. It's not open because if you look at it here, he's throwing it between three guys. There's one guy right here. I understand the title is blocking it, but there's a guy right here. There's a guy right here, and there's a guy on the man that he's throwing it to. So there's such a tiny window. I don't understand this throw. Boneheaded mistake. There's no excuse for it. I understand that. Again, you like to think that can get coached out of you. Again, I don't get this at all. I don't know if he just trusts his arm so much that he thinks he can make that throw. That's just stupid. There's a lot more of those, but those are the two that I'm going to show you for now. This section, I really believe he is trying to do too much. He doesn't know his own limitations. So what I want to do is I want to show you guys the good and the bad, right? So here, this is a bad throw. This is a bad decision. I understand that. Kind of throws it right between the safety and the corner, covering him, and there's just such a small window. He's not able to get it in there, and that's a stupid mistake. But I'm going to show you this as well. Same game, same team. That he's able to get it right between the safety and the corner and get a positive gain, right? Watch this play. Such a small window, and he gets it right there. Obviously, it's a drop. I understand that. But Jordan Love knows he can make that throw. He knows he can make every single throw on the field, and I truly believe he can. He tries to push it too much. He tries to make throws in these tiny little windows that he believes he can make because he's done it before. And again, right here, right between the the safety and the corner. Again, just a perfect throw. Nowhere else he could have put it. I'm going to show that one more time. Put it only where his man could get it. A beautiful throw. So, yes, he in the first clip that I showed you, that interception at the beginning, there's absolutely no doubt that that was a stupid throw. There's no reason he should have believed that he could make that throw. But I did just show you two clips where there's similar situations, and he is able to get that throw off. He is able to push it downfield. So, that's kind of this tough thing where it's like, yeah, I'm not defending the interception, but I'm showing you that he can, that he believes he can make those throws. So if you can coach those out of him, if you can kind of corral in the gunslinger in him and minimize the mistakes and maximize the positive yards, I think the sky's the limit for this kid. I truly believe that. So here, again, kind of throws a jump ball up for his receiver, gets brought down by one of the best corners in college football right now. And I don't really have a huge issue with that. It wasn't perfect placement, but it wasn't bad either. Again, but he also does this where his receiver does get the ball and he kind of throws a bullet. Again, you're going to kind of watch. There's very little velocity there. Just kind of throws a missile in to where only his guy can get it. And again, I'm going to show another one where he just kind of throws it a real lob and his guy goes up and gets it, right? So there's, again, positive and negatives. I've seen him do what he's trying to do, but, you know, there's a place and a time, and when it's an interception, it gets maximized as a bad play. But when I show you two good plays that can go along with it, it kind of gets watered down a little bit, I feel like. So here we go again, another interception. This one has such a small window, such a terrible excuse, because there's no reason that ball should have ever been thrown. I get that. There's no reason that anybody could have gotten that ball into that small of a window, right? And he just kind of throws it right to him. He thinks he can kind of throw a laser right over this guy's head, and it's just not going to work. Dude brings it down. And you know, why would that ever be a throw that you can make? Well, he did it earlier in the exact same game. And I'm going to show that again. This right here is an absolute laser to his guy. And he throws it right over a dude's head in between, you know, this zone coverage that they got going on here. And it's a great throw on 2nd and 6, and that's awesome. But he tries to do too much. He tries to do it again. He has the talent to get away with a lot of these throws, but I mean, you know, he doesn't have the talent to do it consistently, and I think it got himself into a lot of trouble this year. So that's where I'm going to leave it with the film portion of the video. I hope I made a good argument as to, you know, I'm not defending all the interceptions. There's no way to do that. A lot of them were stupid. A lot of them were boneheaded. I could put a lot more on this video. I could have clipped out a lot more really, really bad interceptions that have absolutely no excuse. But I do think it's fair to say, hey, there are a lot of other interceptions that on the surface, maybe it doesn't look like you have an excuse. But, I mean, especially that last clip. I can show you two plays, almost back-to-back. They were very close together in the game, where he makes the play happen in one play and isn't able to in the next. And I think that's just kind of, that's the landmine that you're dealing with when you talk about Jordan Love, right? And I say landmine with a reason. I understand that a lot of people are going to watch this film. A lot of people are going to see the type of player he is and say, hell no. Hell no, am I ever going to draft a guy who threw that many interceptions? I don't have the number. I didn't look it up. I don't care. It was a lot. I know that. Made that many bad decisions when he wasn't even playing against top-end talent most of the time. I get that. And if you feel that way, I'm not going to change your mind. I'm only going to tell you how I feel. I feel like if you watch the film, if you watch what I showed you, you saw insane arm talent. Insane arm talent in plays that kind of get overlooked. Like you don't see just the wow plays a lot of the times. Like they're there, but I try to find kind of the diamonds in the rough, like this awesome, amazing throws that maybe they don't seem like an amazing throw if you're just watching the game casually and you're not really paying attention. There were a lot of really, 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 really good throws from Jordan Love that I showed you guys. Like insane throws that a lot of NFL quarterbacks could not make. And I'm sorry, but for me, I'm going to jump on the upside for that. But all right, guys, my final score for Jordan Love is 6.16. Not a bad grade at all. That is a kind of, it's not an elite grade by any means, but it's still a really good grade in my system. Like I said at the beginning of the show, throw out the grades. I don't think it matters. I don't care what his final grade is. Tua's grade ended up being higher, but I'm higher on him than I am Tua. I think Jordan Love will have a better career in the long run than Tua will, especially if things are going the way the way mock drafts right now are going. Would you rather have Tua on the Dolphins or Jordan Love on the Patriots or Saints? I think it's a really, really easy choice, right? That's kind of where I look at it. And it's not unlikely that Jordan Love goes to one of those two teams. I mean, it's not. There are 3 teams in the top 10 that need a quarterback. There are 4 quarterbacks going in the first round. I really, really would be shocked if Jordan Love doesn't go in the first round. But assuming that Justin Herbert, Tua, and Burrow all go to one of the 3 teams that need a quarterback, the Chargers, the Dolphins, and the Cincinnati Bengals, There's going to be one guy left over. It's going to be Jordan Love. And then there's only other two teams that you could kind of say, hey, maybe they look to the future. Maybe they try and take a quarterback. Patriots, who really only have Jarrett Stidham, maybe they are really, really in play for a quarterback. Maybe Jordan Love is the answer for them at quarterback. You never know. And then the Saints, who are on record as, really wanting to draft Patrick Mahomes before the Chiefs traded up to get him. So there's really it wouldn't be a shock. And I understand. Again, I have really, really, really tried to avoid that comparison because that's such a lazy comparison that gets happened. It's really hard to compare a draft prospect that has serious issues to the best quarterback in the NFL right now. That's hard to do, and I don't want to be one of the people that does that. But there are similarities as far as skill type and strong arm, big arm, things like that. Maybe the Saints want that. Maybe the Saints want that type of guy. If they do, Jordan Love might be Patrick Mahomes light. That wouldn't be the worst thing, especially for Sean Payton, who's probably looking at life after Breeze after this season. We'll see what happens. But all right, guys, thank you so much for watching. I'm going to end it right there. Please like and subscribe for more draft breakdowns. Let me know what you guys think about Jordan Love. Am I just absolutely stupid? Did I show you every reason you shouldn't draft him in the first round and then tell you should anyway? Let me know what you guys think. Peace out, guys. Check back next time for another video.